Thank you. Dr. Begun opening the Board of Health on February 19th, 2025. Roll call.
Patrick Tropiano, yes.
Jillian Morton, present.
Lawrence Perry, present.
Susan Dory, I'm sure will be coming, but not here yet. Discussion and possible vote on 18 Blackbird Avenue variance request. Would you like to speak on it first?
Sure, absolutely.
Mr. McDonald?
So the plan in front of you is for 18 Blackbird Ave, small corner lot, or single lot, whatever it's, pretty standard set of variances for where we're trying to fit, or for where they're trying to fit the system. Only a few things we're gonna have to add to it, but it should be pretty straightforward.
And are you here for this today?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Madam Chair. David Flaherty for the applicant. Currently, there's a cesspool that's in failure, not just by the fact that it's a cesspool, but by the fact that you have to pump it every 3 weeks or so. It's less than 7,000 square feet, and I tried to design a system that would have the smallest footprint to reduce the amount of variances requested and the distances. So this is probably the best I could do. I could try and put it on the other side, but then I'd have to cross a water line. And it just made sense because the sewer line comes out on the north side of the house. So it's in the Wareham Lake Shores Drive area of right off of Glen Charlie Road. No groundwater encountered, pretty far away from any resources. So I guess I'd take any recommendations from the board.
Thank you. Any comments?
Yeah, it's just a couple. You're gonna need a liner between the SAS reduction and the foundation, obviously. And you need an RLS stamp because the things are so close.
Okay.
And you gotta have the green cards too. You have those somewhere.
I can get those to
Okay,
you.
good.
And we'll also need a stamp.
Yeah, you'll have to get the RLS stamp.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it looks great.
Thank you.
It's kind of a tough, all these lots up there and, Wareham Lake Shores are,
Begging for sewer up there.
I don't know, I
I
don't
don't
know,
think it'll happen.
it'll never happen, at least not for a long time.
And
Is this gonna be deed
Dr. Dory
restriction?
has come into the meeting.
2-bedroom deed restriction or no?
What, a deed restriction?
2
Um,
bedrooms.
it's, well,
I think with the fact that it's a 2-bedroom system, it'll never be anything more than that.
well, it wouldn't be anyway because you couldn't increase the size because it's in zone 2 and it requires 10,000 per bedroom. So it's never gonna be increased.
Well, there's a chance they'd have to redesign it and get credit land, but it'd be a whole other process.
Well, they'd have to transfer some land somewhere.
Yep.
But it's not uncommon to do a deed restriction. That's up to you, Patrick.
That's up to the board.
Just with ADUs and everything going on.
Yeah, there's
It
no
doesn't
room for
hurt to
anything
do
there.
it.
I'm seeing a lot of developers buy up little lots to jam a bunch in there right now. So I would probably want that to be deed restricted.
I would agree.
Do you have any other comments, Larry?
No, I think Patrick got them all. The RLS and the notify of the abutter and a 2-bedroom, since you can't meet the requirements for a reserve area or a 3-bedroom minimum.
That's correct.
You should have a deed restriction to 2.
I would entertain a motion.
Okay, I move the following. That we allow a reduction of the SAS soil system setback distance from 20 to 17.8. That we allow a reduction of the proposed SAS setback system from 10 to 5. A reduction of the proposed septic tank from 10 to 5. And that we require that there's an RLS, a deed restriction, and a liner placed on the property between the SIS and the building.
And also the green cards will be,
And the green cards have to be forwarded, yes.
Second,
and all those in favor? Roll call
Aye.
vote.
Patrick Tropiano, yes.
Jillian Morton, yes.
And Amy Vegan, yes. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for your
very
time.
much.
As well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Robert.
Next is discussion and possible vote on animal regulations. Any comments, Ms.?
We discussed
Okay.
it briefly,
Yeah.
but I trimmed these down quite a bit from what they used to be, going from 7 or 8 pages to 3. It just stuck strictly to our setback distances as far as our resources go, and honed in more on what we look at as the Board of Health versus animal inspector and animal control and things like that. And then just a lot of the repeat stuff, like the first and second section, basically locations and animal waste storage, those 2 sections were in every single different animal that were listed in the regulations, so just trimming them down and putting them at the beginning, making a general statement was a lot easier.
Did you look at the zoning bylaws to see if they define kennels? Is it the same? I didn't check, so
It's the same here, it's the same there, and the same for the clerk,
so 3 bedroom,
checked.
or 3 is 3 bedroom,
Right.
3 dogs, 3 cats, okay.
3 or more.
I just wanna
yeah.
make sure that that was consistent along there.
You know, we spoke
Good.
about this last meeting.
Consistency is good.
There is no restriction on the number of chickens and ducks.
No restriction.
And it's more easily readable and it's
Oh,
been
it's
reduced
nice
perfectly.
job.
It's really a nice job.
This brings up, I had spoken at once with the town administrator who mentioned that he might be able to get us somebody to help, so it's not all on you. We can bring that up and ask him where he's at with that. I'm good, does anyone have any other comments? And so these need to be, can these be voted on today?
No,
Right. they
we're
need
gonna
to-
have a public hearing
Yeah.
and then you vote after you have the public hearing. If we still are happy with it, it might get changed at the public hearing, you know what I mean?
Right.
So we wouldn't vote
Okay.
on them now. I move that we have a public hearing as soon as possible, which is probably at least 2 weeks out by the time they advertise.
It'll be 3
Second.
weeks.
Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks.
Second, and all those in
Which
favor?
is
roll-
perfect.
Jillian Morton, aye.
Amy Viana.
Patrick Tropiano.
Our next meeting is on the 5th of March,
So that should work out pretty good. Perfect.
or if that's not, or the next one after that.
Yeah.
And then discussion and possible vote on body art establishments and practitioner piercing and tattooing regulations.
Well, this we worked really a lot on, so I think it's really gotten to where I think it's time to move it on to the public hearing stage, in my opinion.
The last revisions on page 15 of 16. Town council brought up a good point about the restriction that we have on the amount for our fines.
Say that again?
So there's a restriction in the general laws for the amount that we
The
can
amount.
fine people. So our third offense was over the $1,000 maximum, so I've just changed it to a flat 1,000 to match the second one with the potential for revocation. And that should
Right.
clear us of that.
Great. So I move that we schedule a public hearing for the body piercing and tattoo regulation.
And a second,
Roll call vote,
Yeah, Patrick Tropiano, yes?
Jillian Morton, yes.
and Amy Bevan, yes. Thank you. Thank you for all your work on that, for everyone in the office. I'm sure all three of you did.
Oh, yes,
Thank you.
it's a group effort.
It was quite, very difficult. So just while we're on that, what's our next, when these, think about it, we don't have to do it now, but the next thing is going to be the public hearing, but then you can look if there are any other regs that we might want to entertain after that.
I will dig into the regulation book, see what's
Yes.
next. I don't know off the top of my head, actually.
Yeah.
I think we've been through just about all of them.
We have, but some of them might now be a few years back, and we could just see if there's anything else we should be looking back at. So health agents report,
Nothing exciting, thankfully. Disease reporting's ongoing. Everyone's working hard on that. We do have an uptick of some TB cases that we've been working on, TB.
TB?
Yep.
No kidding.
and syphilis,
Yes, yep, those are
TB and syphilis?
common. One of them is common, TB is not.
TB is very uncommon, isn't it not?
in this part of the world, but in many parts of the world, it's still very active. So depending on where people come from, and some parts of the world, everybody gets vaccinated early on, but it really doesn't work 100%. So there's Paul Farmer, I don't know if you know the name. He was a physician that did a lot of work in Haiti and then worked in South America, then in Africa on TB. Fortunately died in his sleep in one of the hotels. I mean, he was a young guy, trained at Harvard, was amazing. Mountains Beyond Mountains was his book. Anyway, very interesting if you want to read about TB and all that. But so it's still pretty prevalent in a lot of the world.
Yes,
Wow.
not so much here usually, but we have a few, and those are from our rural traveling type people. So,
Yeah, our CDC was very strong. That's why it was so good.
yes, absolutely. We've had one conventional Title V system plan review, one new perk test, one upgrade perk test. Sam is out there working hard with our inspector from the grant group, doing our restaurant inspections. They've already started for 2025. And we are in for the 2025 DPH internship program, so hopefully we'll have beachwater samplers again this summer. They are a huge help. Public health nurse, we just talked about her, she's hard at work, dealing with cases, especially those 2 TB cases. And that's the gist of it. Everything else is the same.
Okay.
And perhaps the epidemiologist that you've been talking with,
Yes,
the nurse may be coming.
we will have them at some point, absolutely.
Probably pretty busy this time of year,
Yes, and for medical infectious disease, tons, everybody's seen it, if you've read the paper or seen online, tons of flu A, flu B,
Yep.
COVID, but not quite as hot as the flu right now.
Yep.
RSV and a whole bunch of other viruses. You know, if you tend to get sick, wear a mask on if you're out in public, just to protect yourself anyway, or those around you. A lot of people don't know that you actually pass on the bugs, especially flu and COVID, the day before you get sick more than once you get sick. So, which is hard. Yeah, we're, anyway. It's
I've
out,
heard of a bunch of rhinovirus
yeah,
out there
that's
too.
another cold. There are 17 or 18 different viruses. If you are unlucky and a child and get in the ICU, they'll run this whole panel on you, but we don't do it for everyone. And the avian flu, there've been a lot of questions. I don't know, you want to speak what you've heard from the public health?
Not too many updates on it. The Department of Wildlife and Fisheries have been handling most of the large cases when you have more than, or 5 or more birds. They handle all that stuff. And then for your domestic stuff, the Department of Agriculture handles all those. So we've been a little bit, not out of the loop, but it's not so much in our wheelhouse right now.
Or
Costing a lot of money for eggs.
A lot of money for eggs.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's the other, there is a group around town, I'd like to get them in here. With, when the next time the Buzzards Bay Coalition comes, we've sort of talked about them coming back to talk to us. We spent a lot of time, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, even longer than that now, doing our D-Night system, and if they'd come back and comment to us. There's also a group talking about urine defer, so that, I'm not sure how to, but certainly the water from the toilet goes, the liquid goes not into the septic systems to keep the nitrogen out. So it would be something, maybe when the Buzzards Bay Coalition comes, we could get them to speak before us. It's sort of interesting, I don't understand how it would work on a big, but they were interested in.
You have a couple of systems on, three systems that are out on Onset Island. And what it is they burn it off. The thing evaporates the liquids,
Mhm.
and then it saves the nitrogen from both directions into a little tray.
Yeah.
The problem you have is that what do they do with it when they get it? If they throw it into a bag and tie it and send it to the what do you call it? It gets burnt.
Yeah.
And then it's not a problem.
Mm.
But a lot of times they just go and put a sprinkler back on the lawn.
Yep.
And then you just wasted your time because now it just went right back into the ground. So you gotta really educate people who are using these things a lot. I mean, I'm on them a lot, just.
Right, I
because of-
think this was talking about, what you call it, gray water, is taking it and putting it on gardens and areas to use it as a nitrification of the gardens instead of buying fertilizer for the gardens and all that, so that can work, but that, I don't understand how that will work in it might work for one person with a farm, but not for a community easily, so.
The
that's
other piece we should have in is Barnstable County, because they're the ones who keep track of all of it.
Right,
And the last time I was here as a selectman, when you guys had me here the last time, which is quite a long time ago now, and they weren't happy with what the nitrogen systems were doing at all. They weren't meeting any, not one of them was meeting its criteria, its
well,
its
we had,
level.
right, we had talked about getting them here too in the Buzzard Bay Coalition and the system, so maybe having a day where all of them come and we meet for a half
That would be a good
hour.
idea.
Whether we can do it in April sometime or May or something like that, find a time when everybody could come.
Great idea.
So, any announcements, anyone else?
There's a seminar coming up, if anybody's interested, the Mass Association of Health Boards is having it the first week of April. It's on the first Saturday in April. It's designed for board members and about the legal, you guys probably know about it, I don't know, maybe everybody's already been.
The first, was it the first and
Focuses
third
on the legal
Saturday?
authority of board members, and
Yep.
boards of health.
I have it early on when I went to a couple of these who Bob had gotten us to go, and there were a couple of them that were really interesting. If anybody has them, I would go if anyone was interested. I mean, if I can do that, we can, they're,
Yeah, I think it's like
Where
9
is
to
this?
4, includes breakfast and lunch.
where
It's
is it?
$100, it's in,
There's three sessions,
Yeah.
there's one down Cape.
oh, it's in
somewhere.
Plymouth,
1620.
They're
is the-
interesting. I learned a lot when I went.
Hotel 1620.
So if maybe somebody can send us the link.
Yep, I think we just got that today, right? Did that email?
And the
just come
grant
today?
funding will pay for $100 for anybody that wants to go.
Oh, good, might be, yeah,
Free breakfast and lunch.
Can't beat
it's a
that.
deal.
Just gotta give up a Saturday, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
There's another thing that comes up in the spring too, and basically it helps a lot of people like that need credits for their licensing and stuff. Where is that? It's in,
There's the Yankee
The-
conference, there's the
well,
NEON
they do one
conference,
that's,
there's-
it's all day affair.
Yeah.
And and a lot of it's all about nitrogen systems.
Oh,
That's pretty much what they talk about. Presby's there, everybody's there.
Yep.
And they have little sections and it's a whole day thing. I went last year. It's
where is it held?
I'm trying to, Concord?
Last year was the,
Is it Concord?
Up near Boston somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
usually
somewhere
just
like
one.
that. It's,
Mhm,
I'll
okay.
get the exact
Yeah.
location. It's always the same place. They have it in their hall. They have a hall there and they have it there. So it's a good thing. I'll get the
That'd be-
exact
yeah,
location. I'll get it
That'd
to
be
everybody.
interesting it's been years since we went
'Cause
over
it's a
all that.
really good take. It's free. It's nice.
Great. Discussion and possible vote on the meeting minutes.
I move we approve the minutes for January 15th and February 5th. Unless anybody has any questions. They look okay to me.
I don't see. Let me see, I only have one set.
Yeah, I think there was a second.
I only have one set. I have the January 5th, which there's not much in it.
Right.
They were in the packet though. They were in the, when you sent it. You
Yeah.
sent it with.
Oh, yeah, they.
I,
just-
It's probably when I had it off to the
Didn't
side, I
copy
didn't
them
put it
all.
off yet.
But we all have had them.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And,
I move to,
thank you.
yeah, what did you already say?
Mhm.
Okay, second.
And roll call vote.
Patrick Tropiano, yes.
Julian Morton, yes.
And Amy Began, yes. And any other business?
Move
Right.
adjournment.
Second,
Patrick Tropiano, yes.
Julian Morton, yes.
Amy Began, yes.
Great, thank you.
We're all set. That's almost another